streaming best annotated games at 1600, 1700. And then with Chris C. There we go. Boom. Boom. All right. Now, Chris, there's sometimes a little bit of a lag. It should, yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll be talking about this. Now, I thought this would be fun to have you here, of course, but also you can help me give perspective on which games you think are really well annotated. There are some games in here which are super strong. And before we start, I want to say, no one's listening anyway now. But this thing says that Kostya lost, but other people were saying that was the wrong game, that like they screwed up the transmission. And I think it's probably true that they screwed it up. So, let's go scoreboard. Let's go back. And this woman, Patea, is doing really great annotations. And here, Jack, dude, let's see, he's just playing these children, dude, having the hardest time. Let's see Jack's annotation here. First of all, that looks pretty good with the layout. Right, okay, so Jack is black. Right, so C3, E6. Okay, good note. White plays bishop E3. And now maybe a good note would be knight E5, queen A4 wins. Right? That would be a brutal thing. We could conceivably play bishop F3 here, but okay, dude plays here. And now he plays knight F5, blundering queen A4. Right. He saw queen A4 and didn't like it. He lied about it. He didn't see queen A4. Come on. Once you see queen A4. Now, the thing about this is, actually I'll tell Jack that I'm going over one of those games again. Is that we want to then say what he should have done. Actually, what am I complaining about? He did say, and A6 certainly makes a lot of sense, and bishop F3 makes some sense. I'm not sure about queen A5 because you are encouraging B4 with like bishop takes, pawn takes, and B4. Okay, yeah, this maybe queen A5 is also fine. The short answer is black is doing fine in this position. And after H3, we should really be doing good. So, snip, snip, no snip. Yeah, so now he makes it complicated with bishop H5. Now,
so,
yeah.
Jesse, what would you prefer there instead of bishop H5?
Oh, take the knight. And then you win the pawn on C5, and you get this position, and black is, well, I think strategically winning. Where's the white king going to go? We're going to castle. Everything's dandy, right? One thing I've noticed about Jack is, like, here's an interesting thing, Chris. Sometimes the nicest people that you meet, they're just wacky. They're just like the most violent chess players, dude. You know, like Pruess the communist. That guy, dude, he'll play some crazy moves, man. He'll play some crazy moves. Yeah. So you never know what's going on with these people. Maybe that's just a screen, the niceness that they have, you know. Because bishop H5, it's like you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of the position. Right. In particular now, dude plays b4, but he could have significantly complicated the game with queen a4. I mean, he missed it before, but here it's the same deal. Because now if queen, any kind of queen move, and then we have to worry over knight d4. Maybe it's still complicated, but yeah, let's play queen a4. All right, so b4 happens. So now he does it. I'm not sure I like this move. I think queen d4 would be the question for white. And again, he misses this knight d4 idea here. And right, he says he should have played bishop f3. Well, wait a second, though. Isn't the problem that instead of that, he could have played knight d4 now, right?
Yeah.
That's not entirely true. We still have queen e5. Because knight c6, queen e3. How am I feeling? Beloved bookkeeper, thank you for asking. I'm feeling pretty good. I've recovered from my madness here. From the COVID. So I don't know if queen c, as long as knight d4 doesn't do anything. Well, maybe you're also saying after knight d2, it's not so easy for you, which is probably fair. But you're doing great here. b5, isn't it? ba, isn't it? King h1, isn't it? King h1, you just play ab. And then I guess queen c2 is maybe the best try, huh? But here, watch this. We can go pop, pop, whack. That's not pleasant for a peasant. I'd say you're strategically winning that position. All right, so dude goes back, and you hit him. Good move. And now we just play bishop takes c5. Now we're crushing him. Okay. Let's see if we can find something better, by the way, Jack, for instead of queen a7. Real simpleton chess would be moving the bishop somewhere to here or here and then playing c5. One thing about this position, right, is we want to claim that dude is completely screwed strategically because of the weakened pawns and the bishops, the position's also open. So as long as we keep hold of our trumps, we shouldn't need to do anything complicated, right? Whereas queen a7, knight d4, queen a6, it's a little complicated. I still love your position, but it's a little complicated. Right. Yeah, you need to move the bishop and play for c5, boss. Yeah, you're getting frisky. Now, you say knight c6 isn't anything to be concerned about. But I have some concerns. This makes me nervous. Like now I get to go back. I still love your position, but maybe I'm going to live. There's no part of this position which says that white should be living. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you ever want to feel bad about yourself, Chris, this guy Stenglein, he's playing little children, man, and they're strong.
Oh, I know how that is.
Yeah. Good move. C5. Good. I'm just happy you got c5. Now I know it's strategically toast for the guy. Oh, that's fancy. Oh, I really don't want to take that thing. Okay. The cops are coming for me, it's true. Okay, time out. I want to just say a couple things. In general, I do not want to trade my bishops. And when you're playing for bishop g6, you are playing for pawns. I don't care about the pawns. I want the bishops to hurt this poor fool. So, a move that I think I like here is f6. Uh-oh. There was a network error. It seems I'm back. Right, f6, and if ef, bishop f6, and then I'm killing the rook, you could make an argument that he could sack the exchange here. No, yeah, okay, f6. F6 highfalutin, though, because I'm allowing knight c5. I don't want to allow knight c5. Okay.
Is there a way then to still make f6 work? Like, I don't like... Do I like c4?
c4 is interesting, yeah.
To kick the knight?
c4
and then f6?
here. Yeah, good try, yeah. And then we'll think, we're opening the position and we're going to say these guys are done for. Yeah, that's a good move. And it's just a real hassle. I'll play bishop g6 too, so there's not going to be an easy way to disentangle. Okay, so Jack wants to win the pawn. The danger about winning the pawn here is maybe black has some chances to hold. Nah, he's done, right? He's done. Come on, he's done. Okay, I would have wanted to talk about rook c4 and what if that's winning, but this is fine. Good. Oh, did we really do? Oh, it's a check. It's fine. Let it go, Jesse. Let it go. Okay, white's just kind of fooling around here. In principle, I don't like this d4 move. Everything else was okay. Rook a4, rook a3, for example. So in general, Jack, you don't want to put the pawns on the dark squares. Well, that was bad. Well, it's hard to beat these children, man. It's hard to beat these children. So yeah, he's got to go through this wall of evil children to get to the other side.
Yeah, I will just say on the topic of children, I posted something about senior chess in the Discord at one point, and somebody said, "What's the big deal with senior chess?" And I didn't answer because I didn't want to be offensive, but it was like, you don't have to play against children. They're tough.
Definitely that too, yeah. Okay, let's keep looking. We've looked at Taylor's game. Those are good games. And we're going to look at Kumpas. I don't think we've looked at Kumpas. Okay, so Kumpas is black. Wait, maybe I have looked at this. We've seen a lot of this recently. Okay, so yeah, this is, I think, another in the long row of this kind of setup. This is the one I advocated for in our dojo repertoire. I like it a lot for black. It seems like it's nothing, but it's got a lot of fire. Okay. Now, one of the challenges for black in this position is how to proceed from a position like this. And actually, Chris, wow, what interesting try does black have here?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So my first, well, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, my first thought is a stinker, so I'm going to actually discard that without mentioning it.
What was your stinker?
I was thinking about knight g6 and bishop f4, but I'm not sure I want to get rid of my good bishop for his bad bishop.
What other ideas you got?
So I have a whole bunch of ideas that I don't like. so I don't like bishop g5 or g4 rather. Because that knight's not going anywhere anyway. Queen b6 is a bomb. That just falls immediately to the fork.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Our worst piece though is the knight, right?
Well, the knight needs an idea. And let me put it this way first. Everybody's wondering in this position as black, like they're always playing bishop e6, bishop f5, bishop g4. And the problem is really, I don't know where that thing wants to go yet.
Right. And none of them seem like particularly promising squares.
Right.
So trying to think, where does the queen want to go? But I'm not entirely sure where the queen wants to go either.
Okay, I'm going to play this move because I have a feeling only a madman would do it, or if you knew about it.
Are you going to play h5?
I'm going to play g5.
G5? Okay.
Now, there is some debate about this move, but the intention is I'll play knight g6 next. I have incredible space, and I will strive for a kingside initiative.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. We do need to move it because it's going to be really an attack on either wing. White will try to get some juice going on the queen side. Right? Okay, so anyways, the game goes like this. And now he shuffles around. Reasonable. And they're kind of trading things off. And now the problem of this is maybe we're worse in this ending because of, well, what is White's dream? He wanted to say, in this endgame, I'm going to have the ability to have a pass pawn. Mm-hmm. So it certainly looks like White's better here. Good move. And then the computer wants him to play d5.
So Jesse, is that issue with an endgame kind of a potential problem with that opening, since black can't really do the create a pass? Can black create a pass pawn on the king side at any point?
Let's just say it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So this is the white dream. This position is still very difficult for white to actually win on a practical level, but it's this is what we have here is the dream for him. Yeah. And kind of a bummer that dude used the computer here, but the reason d5 should be looked at is that's his side of the board and he wants to make some business on it. Let's see what. Unfortunately, this is a computer line, but let's just look. Pop, pop, pop. And maybe this is his own analysis, though. I'm not sure about d5, actually. I mean, d5, the knight is pretty reasonable on d6, right?
Yeah, he's a good blockader, and it's hard to kick him out of there.
And he's like messing with the bishop's squares, too. So, yeah. So, interestingly, this position, even though this particular position might have looked great for white, it's still not too easy to know what exactly dude should do. Knight d2 maybe? Okay, well, let's look. a5, good move. b5, controversial. c takes. c5. And then he says bishop b3, the only move to keep an advantage. Chris, these people are doing work, dude. These people are doing work.
So wait a minute. So what happens after c takes?
He's going to play rook takes e2.
Rook takes e2, of course, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Now, we should still look at it. Now, here's the bummer of this guy using the computer, because there are questions that maybe that we need to look at.
Rook takes e2. What about d7?
Good question, d7. And black needs to find that move. And the true sorrow for white is that the knight is terrible. But here's an example where the computer didn't help him, because you have to see this bishop e6 thing. So if the computer might not show it to you, right? But as a human, you're like, well, like you said, what's going to happen after CD?
Right. How about king f1 here?
I'm just going to go away somewhere.
Okay.
Right. And if rook c7, rook d8, rook here.
What about rook dc1? Yeah.
Yeah, king f8, and I'm going to get it. Because the knight's not working.
Yeah. That's the problem. It almost works.
It's just a bishop b3, strong move.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still goes for it. I don't understand. Thank you. Rook e8. God, these people are playing good chess, dude. Very simple and strong. He can't do king f1 because of bishop b5. And now he makes a chess crime. Right.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, put into words, Chris. Why is bishop takes f3 a chess crime?
Because the knight is really not that great a piece. Honestly, the bishop is much more of a killer. So you're giving up a better piece for a poorer piece.
Right.
I mean, you're breaking up the white pawn structure, but it's still, I think, going to be a challenge to create a pass around the king side.
That's absolutely right. So what should be maybe the first move that comes to our mind?
Instead of h3? Or
bishop takes f3.
Okay. I think I might have a bit of lag here. So instead of bishop takes f3, so moves that come to mind are, well, one idea I like is just the simple a4. as one possibility.
Okay, tell me what's wrong with A4.
What's wrong with A4?
Or potentially wrong, or whatever you want to call it.
Potentially wrong. Okay.
White can play D5.
Oh, that's true. True. Okay.
So let's say you're in time pressure like this guy. How do you keep it simple?
So keeping it simple, I see two moves. One being bishop b5, the other being bishop d5.
No, boss. Fix your king. Come on.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Fix the king. Like all these little tricks that white has, it's all because of your king, and now your king also has a dream. So yeah, I'm liking this annotation for the most part, but I really would have liked him to give, to say why this is a bad decision and why he was motivated and what the analysis, what should he have done and what was the evaluation. Like, I think this is winning. It still requires some skill. And the knight well, white has to find some way to try to play with their knight. Okay. Now he does it. Rook A4. Rook D8. And then he gives this variation. Rook A8. D5. King. 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 And then, King D3 would be the real simple thing to do here. Oh, he's saying King D3, B6? I don't know. I don't know who's hurting who. I don't know who's doing the damage. But Rook E4 is also paying. Yeah. King D7. Well, it's interesting, honestly. We would still want to consider. No, I guess we're not. Well, can we consider this?
A5 or A4.
Maybe. It's hot. This one's really hot. This one's really hot.
Yeah.
So, for example, on Rook E7, King B8, I think Black might lose because of check, take the Rook, King takes, and then King D3, and we eat the A pawn. I think that's complicated too. But then if Rook E7, King D8, Rook F7, I'm wondering about Rook A5. But here, at the minimum, I can get back. Get back to where you once belonged, as they like to say back in the day. And then this is a draw, I guess, with this kind of stuff. Okay, so Rook A8, Rook D8. King F1, they finally bring their pieces in. Okay. By the way, if I was white here, I would definitely take, just because now I know I'm in the draw zone.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm going to play C6 next, and I'm going to just say, let's shake hands. Let's shake hands and go home. This dude doesn't want to shake hands. And he says B6 the only move. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave this, because he's just doing everything according to the computer. Okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible, but let's keep going. And basically, I'm looking for people that I haven't seen yet. Oh, we got Crab. So we're going to look at Siegenfire, Crab, and Jiribara here. So first, let's look at Siegenfire. This is a massive annotation here, too. Oh, let's click on him. I don't know anything about Siegenfire. He's inactive. The chump.
No.
Don't be inactive. All right, let's go back. Oh, we'll look at his game. Oh, they love this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because it said he's using the computer. It says inaccuracy. D takes C6 was best. You know that's a Lee chess thing. We're just sometimes it's not necessarily their fault. Sometimes Lee chess just demands. It just spits it out in there, and you have to like click a special button. But it ruins everything.
Yeah.
It ruins everything.
Got to dig into the settings and have that shut off.
Well, maybe I should. What do you think? Should I give it a chance, Chris, or it's just this whole inaccuracy thing? Does it? Am I rightly turned off?
Does it look rampant?
Does it look rampant?
like if it's a one-off thing.
Oh man. Is it rampant? What the engine recommends. Okay, yeah, it's a little rampant. All right, we'll go back.
Okay, yeah.
Then we're going to look at Krabby Crab. This guy, I haven't met him yet, but he's somewhere around me in this area. Okay. Good. This is actually a known thing that I knew about back in the day, where black is not in time to deal with his knight takes c6 thing. So whether he knew it or not, I think he's saying he missed knight d5, but of course he still has a very nice position. Knight e4 looks very natural to me. No, I can't imagine knight e4 being wrong, Krabby Crab. Because let's say we castle, right? And black castles, we're still playing knight e4. Okay, knight e4. Castles.
Yeah, I actually like knight e4 because I don't like leaving myself open to knight takes c3.
Yeah, and it's also just the right place for the knight. He's looking at this tender c5 square, you know, making him worry over some knight d6, c4 things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying bishop c7. I just go ahead and tell you, Krabby Crab, you're doing great, dude. You're doing fantastic here. You're going to castle and play c4. And the knight has options of going to c5. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I don't think the knight on e4 is unstable.
Yeah, look at this.
The only way to chase it away is with f5, which I hate for black.
Look, he's saying this position is unclear. No, it's ain't unclear. You're doing great, boss. Yeah. Look, crud, better structure, and you're just golden. This thing's a beast. Whether you decide to trade queens or not. Okay, so castles. Okay, so one of the things you see from where he's thinking about the position, is that he's thinking that the bishop on d6 was really amazing for black, and he needs to get rid of it. Whereas, if we had castled, so by the way, we can't do knight d6 and c4 yet because of a check, either from the queen or the bishop picking this thing up. But if we castle, then it's precisely black has to do something nasty with moving the bishop. Right? Now, this knight d6, he might be right that white has a nice advantage. But I think white also has a great advantage here because now black is going to have to lose a tempo. My sense is that is the better move. But I don't have I have 0 good squares for the knight. 0. Mm-hmm. That's known as misery right there. So, all right, but it's true that he could say to himself, I feel comfortable in this position. And definitely he's got a clear advantage here. Okay, right? Good thing he didn't play c4. a3's got to be good because it controls one of the knight's retreat squares. And he looks at queen c5. Now b3 has a fancy little thing now. And back in the last millennium, Chris, when they had that little triangle, it meant with the intention. Oh, I guess he is doing it with the intention. You see his little arrow? Yeah, he's got it.
Looking at c4.
And what's cool about this is he's totally shoving the knight back. Let's click on Krabby Krab. This is a high school kid. He, look at this. Wants to become a professional magpie, bookbinding, chess, and karate dictator. Oh, there he is. So he's in the wrong cohort, by the way. Let's go down. Yeah, he's in the wrong cohort. I think he's doing it because of his Lee chess rating, I guess. He's claiming he's up there. He is trying. He's got a cool goal. There's this thing called the Maryland Sweet 16, and it's the top high school kids. And so they have like a best of 16 or something to see who goes the Denker.
Cool.
And his challenge now is just his rating so low, you know. And here he is playing some random guy. But I think he's putting a good game together here.
Yeah, I don't dislike his position at all.
Yeah. I think this move b3 is really professional. We're just controlling all the squares.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a problem, actually, I just noticed with this move. Oh, there's a problem, unfortunately. His opponent missed it. Couldn't he have played knight c3?
Knight c3. Okay. Rook e1.
Well, your queen's hanging, boss.
Oh, my queen's hanging. Yeah, duh. Okay. Let's change that move then. Definitely not queen d4.
Now, my sense is Krabby Krab was thinking this wasn't a hassle because now it's like, in a sense, he's gotten rid of the knight. Maybe he could have considered, let's say, queen f3. I might have another idea for white, by the way, but let's just first consider queen f3. And here I feel like our advantage is a little bit minimal. We still have the advantage, but it's not, I was going to say a ball breaker, but then Kostya would have been mad at me. But yeah, just bishop d7, rook ft8, bishop e8, he might live.
A gusto breaker.
A gusto breaker. So then I think white has to prove himself a fancy man if he's going to do this. And maybe he can with a4. So knight e2 loses. Knight d1, ab loses. Queen, and then so you're going to lose control of the e2 square. And then I'm going to be able to push you out, I think. You know, that's the intention anyway. Well, it looks pretty good. I guess that's a key moment right there. a4, exclaim. Okay, queen b6, excellent. Excellent, Krabby Krab. Now I think you're positionally winning, dude. Look at this game he's putting together. I love the high school words here. Like, he's playing at some random hotel and he's playing some random guy. Queen c7, all right. And now bishop c5. I'm just looking. I think also I would want to look at queen c5. Let's just put rook b7 on the board for a second. Here. And well, that's the kind of pain that you're just not gonna. I mean, I don't know about that one, boss. That one's gonna hurt.
Come to the d file.
Yeah, everybody's dying here. I think queen b6 is what your only shot. And then we got moves for sure here. B4 is the obvious one though. Yeah, I think that's completely done. Now maybe his move is completely done too. Oh, crabby crab, bud. Really, you took that thing? You took that thing? Now, what's funny about him saying opposite color bishops is it's not opposite color bishops. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's what happens when you're playing some random guy at a random hotel. Okay, but bishop d7 doesn't guard the pawn because you'll play bishop takes c6. Maybe rook d8, bishop d7. I see. Okay, so look, crap. I have a feeling you're not in chat. You'll watch this thing later. Let's talk about your other options here. I think it's important to see that if you can avoid it, we really don't want to take the knight. And really, it's putting ourselves in a position already here that we did this to ourselves. And I think you're dreaming. You're saying, oh, I love this because I want to win a pawn. But it's actually kind of complicated. So that's why I think queen c5 just like, ends his world. Dominate. And so what am I saying? Look for domination, not for winning a pawn. Okay. So here it comes. And I would say bishop c5 looks to me winning. And I'll trade one pair of rooks, and I'm going to sit on you. This bishop's not going anywhere. Okay, so let's look at this ending. This happened. And then he does this. Kind of clever. I definitely want a variation with like rook c1 or something. b4, and I guess I wanted an eval, but you gave us one. You said clear advantage. What should the first move be that comes to Black's mind here, Chris?
For me, I'm thinking e5.
Good, e5.
I want to stop f4, and I want to get my bishop in open line.
And we need to get our pawns some kinetic energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's king f8. I think f4 is a good move. So I guess I would want him to tell me that king f8 was a mistake. Good move. f6, king f2, e5. Good questions. King e3. I like the way he's playing this, man. He's got some fancy symbols too. You see these fancy symbols? He had the intending symbol, and he had that, I think there's a better endgame symbol or something like that. Or he said call it the development advantage. See, I can't even remember my old symbols.
Yeah, I didn't remember the circle one for development advantage. I knew the idea of, but this one's new to me.
Now, by the way, I'm not sure at all what's happening. I do know that white is better, but I'm not 100% on what's happening. And I would definitely consider G5 here, for sure. We have to create some kind of counterplay, or we'd like to, anyway, create some counterplay. King E4. Okay, big moment. So our problem is if F5, there is King E5.
Mm-hmm.
And if we play King E6, we have
Bishop H3.
Bishop H3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, also with the annotation, it'd be great for him to look at this ending and try to imagine how you would try to persecute this. The obvious problem is that we don't have an easy way in. And I think what's going to happen is that white is going to need to try to play for King A4, A5. And then when that goes down, black will be pushing on the king side. So one thing that brings me to I'm just looking. This is hard. This is hard. So G5 is natural. Maybe he's right. Maybe it's funky. And that's cool because it does prevent F5. Very nice, Krabby Krab. Very nice, dude. Now he is toast. Huh, that was good, man. Well, let me just say, dude, this is the amazing thing about you, Chris. You're beating people higher level than Krabby Krab. And look at this, Krabby Krab, dude. He's putting some games, he's putting some stuff together.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah. So I had some complaints about the annotation, but they weren't because he wasn't thinking. It was just like things maybe he could consider. Yeah. Right. Just like maybe differences in opinion. I'm going to feature this game, dude. So basically what I'm doing here, Chris, is I'm looking at all the people who contribute to that 16-17. I'm going to look at least one game of theirs. And then I'm going to put together the top 5.
Nice.
Top 5. And did I tell you about the project, dude?
No, I don't think you did.
Oh, man, it's a big project. It's just... So we're going to put out a book called How to Analyze Your Games.
Oh, that's sweet.
I wrote a, let's call it introductory essay, about 20 pages. I'm still going to rework it some. But then the meat of the book is going to be 5 top games from every cohort.
Beautiful.
So it's like a 300-page book, you know, and I've been working on it. Kostya ain't working on it, but he's out playing. I hope he's not.
He's out in Spain, right?
He's out in Spain, man. Krabby's here. Yeah, dude. Well, we check. If you didn't get the whole thing, go ahead and rewatch it. We thought you played some good chess, and it was a very good annotation too. I really feel, dude, like, let's go watch. Look at this, dude. You will you will get a higher rating than this, Bows.
Yeah, that was ridiculously good.
Yeah, and Krabby Krab, remind us, how old are you, boss? How old are you? And we're gonna go back and look at some other games. So that was Krabby Krab. We're going to look at Judy Bada. 15. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, you keep playing tournaments, man. You're going to do great. So this one, is it a 30-minute I just want to say I'm prejudiced against 30 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to look at that one. I'll give him another chance though. Yeah, it's just not that deep of notes here. Okay. So, I haven't looked at anyone from Shaheen.
Jesse, I need to step away for just a sec. I'll be back.
No problem. I kind of want him to say more about these moves over here. Okay. Yeah, I want him to say more. Not a bad annotation though. Okay, and then we've done, let's look at Jack again. Jack's that number. Here he goes, dude. Jamil's playing this garbage too. Okay. So he missed 95. I'm happy you didn't play back. Knight c4. And then right bishop e6 is dropping the pawn. Okay, bishop e7. Okay, fair notes. Knight d5. e5. I'm not a huge fan of e5. Maybe you could play e5. See, look, Jack is always looking for the most violent thing. What a normal person here just castle or take the a pawn. Jack is like, let's go, R. Jack, take it easy, boss. You don't need to hurt everybody all the time. So here it comes. So let's just talk the obvious. It's controversial because you have a very nice position. The pawn on e4 is nice. e5 is not a developing move, right? So,
is it maybe a little early to do that before castling?
Absolutely. Look, and he says DE, knight e5, knight f6. I got to this point when I was calculating e5 and wasn't really sure where I'd go from here. I thought maybe I could just trade all the pieces and get the past a pawn, but it looks a bit scary. Bows, listen to me, Jack. You could take the pawn here if you want, boss. If you want, that pawn's yours. You could take the, yeah, just take the pawn, dude. e5, not a developing move. Okay, this seems incorrect. And he's still, Jack, bows. You got a castle, man. You got a castle, dude. I don't know. He's just, okay. Let me just relax a little bit and say it was fine because he was tagging the bishop. Fine. And now it's all gone already. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if it scares me because it's dangerous or because I'm an old man. But that was scaring me.
That was scaring me, yeah. And how come the game?
My knuckles are getting white there.
And how come the game isn't? How come it doesn't end in 5 moves here? That's what I want to know. Oh my gosh! So hold on, Jack. I think we have to admit that we missed that. And that's a nice move. Now you're totally winning. But why doesn't the game end sooner, Jack? I guess it is finally over. These people don't resign. That's why. That's why it didn't end. Oh my God, this person really doesn't give up. Okay, I can't take it anymore. Pretty good annotation. He's going through this wall of children, dude. It's not easy. All right. I don't think I've looked at Kalos Gatos. Topical variation. Okay. Now, we'll say this. 95 is a very highfalutin move, and it would have been much simpler for you to play E3. So this is an example, I think, where knowing a little bit of openings is hurting you. Because when you play 95 to play F3, E4, you're losing 1,000 tempi, and you have to really have a sense of what the dream is. The dream is domination after F3, E4. But a good black player is going to kick, you know? All right, here we go. This guy doesn't kick, though. Right? He just goes into the stark night. Yeah. So. Okay, that's a good note what he just wrote, right?
Jesse, what would you have done to kick?
Oh, there's a lot of different moves here.
Like 97?
There's this knight, so you have Queen H4 stuff. I think actually there's some crazy variation where they go like, is it here, here, and here? I mean, they kick. They're going to kick, son. They're going to kick. And I don't understand it all. I'm just knowing it's so the dream is precisely what he gets. Like right. Black doesn't understand it, and it's really important to see that this is really the dream. And one interesting thing actually about Bishop C4 is this relates to your game, that Bishop C4 is mildly controversial because Black really, really, really wants to trade off some pieces. And after Bishop C4, Knight BD7, it might be difficult to not trade your knight. So maybe more to the point was Knight C4.
Yeah.
But that's where it's difficult to play these kinds of positions. See, because look,
right.
Knight G6, he doesn't understand. Okay, so let's see what he says. In retrospect, I have to criticize this move a lot. Yes, it's great to claim the bishop pair in general terms, but after Bishop C4, I should be much better, and somehow by 12 Rook C8, I felt Black had equalized. This was the only noteworthy move in between. Remember that every piece exchange needs to be considered carefully. In this case, we are not winning the bishop pair. We are giving away an excellently played knight while relieving Black of his worst minor piece.
Yep.
Yeah. So the whole idea of F3, E4, this is what I meant by openings being hard or making your life miserable. The whole idea of F3, E4 is to achieve this kind of domination, and then you give it away.
Yeah. To their credit, though, it was a good analysis.
Yeah, no, it was a good. I'm very happy with that. Dude, I'm telling you, people are going over their games, and it's like, oh, we're getting things done. Now, I don't know if I would say Black is equal after Rook C8. And nor do I believe that Rook C8 is even the best move. I think A5 is the move. Let's say the move that they normally like to do.
So what is the point of A5, Jesse?
So in a lot of these Slav positions, the idea is to claim that, and Smyslov had some great ones in this kind of position, is that, let's put A5 on the board. The White has obviously the better center, right? Has the bishops, but that this bishop has a wall facing it on these light square pawns.
Right.
So the dream of White is going to be to open somehow the light squares. And until they're opened, it's just a dream. Black is saying that these two squares are very much a big deal, saying that the bishop on b4 is working with the light square pawns. And if he knows anything, he's going to say, "Oh, I'm so happy you took my bad bishop." It wasn't just that it was a dominated bishop on g6. It was a bishop that is just bad anyway. There's some great Smyslov games where Smyslov plays f6 and bishop f7, for example, in these structures, just to try to get that thing to do something.
Right.
And then further, there's like a long-term thing where I want to trade minors, and I want to eventually get some kind of action on the d file. Because in a lot of ways, this pawn, you could call it an isolated pawn on d4. Right? You could treat it as such. This is what Nimzovich called the incinerator here. Right. Now, why don't I like rook c8? Because I don't know what the only thing it might do is play c5. All right, Chris, why is c5 fundamentally wrong?
Because I think you're kind of trying to restrain the movement of white's d pawn.
Anything else?
So one thing is you're putting a pawn on the color of your own bishop.
Good.
And you're giving up control of those light squares too.
Absolutely.
Like your pawns, like you just said, your pawns are controlling the light squares. The bishop and the pawn on a5 are trying to control those dark squares. And when you move the c pawn, you're no longer controlling light squares.
Right. And anything else we should say about the white pieces in relationship to the c5 move?
The white pieces. So it will help if white takes, then he does have an open line for that dark square bishop on e3.
No, I just want you to see the knight is dominated by the pawn.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, queen b3 maybe. To me, queen e2 followed by a rook move. I don't think white needs to do anything. White needs to understand that he's got trumps and that you just needs to welcome c5. If c5 happens, before you do anything, you have to remember to do a little dance of celebration if he does it. It's really important that you got to do the dance. Because if you don't do the dance, it means you don't really understand how lucky of a boy you are. And it's important to understand, when you get something going your way. Okay, so queen b3. Black should play a5. And see, he's terrified of c5, so let's look at this. So, first of all, I definitely believe white would be better after rook fd1, right? But let's look at his analysis with d5. Okay, so he doesn't like that one, or the de6. That makes sense to me. So, which move is it that he likes? What is he saying here? So d5. It's definitely trouble. So do you see another? Oh, he's saying ed5. Knight d5. We fixed our bad knight. Okay, knight b6 doesn't seem like it. And is there some other move he's got besides knight b6? Queen c7. No, boss, we're definitely better. Right? Look at that thing. What are we talking about? Of course we're doing great here. He's talking about bishop c4. Yes, you could try to preserve the bishop pair. But, let's have a discussion over here with rook fd1. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe I could do better, but that looks pretty good. I think I can do better than that. But that's already looking pretty good. So, because he's... So I think actually what you're seeing from white is he doesn't understand that he's got a nice position here, or doesn't feel comfortable in this thing. All right, here's a nice move, I think. This one I might end up taking back. But it's definitely something I want my mind to consider. So obviously bishop a5, queen b7, and we've got that really nice endgame. My question is, do I have anything after knight f6? Maybe it's not as easy as I'd like it to be. Oh yeah, look at this, Chris. Bishop c4. Now, if you don't take it, your knight's dominated, right? Mm-hmm. You did it for nothing. Then I whack you here, buddy. You cannot take because of rook takes a5. The knight's, wherever the knight goes, we're going to punch him. And that's what they call that hurts. Yeah, we're going to rip this dude open. Yeah, not so pleasant, dude. Look at that. There's chess. And you can see the bishops at work. Bishops are at work over here, my friends. And on knight e5, I think we're going to even do this bad boy move. We're just going to be like, no, buddy. I'm sorry.
Bishop f4?
Yeah, bishop f4, dude. Just forget about it. Yeah. So, by the way, I'm liking the annotations. I don't mind that that I disagree with some stuff, But these are some good annotations. Bishop a5, definitely weird. Fine. And c5 seemed dangerous again. It's hard for me to imagine. Yeah, it's really hard for me to imagine. Well, d5. d5, knight d5. White's got all the trumps. He's got all the trumps.
Yeah, I'm liking this for white.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're crushing it. Okay. I think, though, this is the kind of position where, you need a little experience. You need to go over your games a little bit to understand how dangerous it is for the black pieces. Because it's not just some attack on the king, right? It's like we've got better development. We've got the light squares, these kinds of things. Yeah, I would say this is a clear advantage. Okay, so bishop b6. Now, I'm just going to say something ignorant. I was a little confused already why we didn't play...
a5?
Well, okay. I just wanted to look like what would happen if we had played queen b7.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I'm assuming he was terrified of that. And then let's say I take this thing. And he does that. And it's mildly scary, but I'm also just wondering, what is it? What is it? Like, let's say, I don't know, move here or something. I don't know if I see it. There might be some terrible thing that could happen to me, like maybe a knight b8 could mess with me. I don't see that either, though. Anyways, I was wondering about that, and it comes up again because after bishop b6, I definitely want to consider a5.
Yeah.
Because now the whole like rook b8, rook b2 thing isn't going to even work because I'm going to take this thing. So bishop f2. He's concerned about e5. By the way, I'm not convinced. Look what he's doing to himself. You could see yourself in here, Chris. He's got terror. He's got terror.
I was just thinking about that.
So he's thinking rook ac1. He's terrified of e5. Why should we not be terrified of e5?
Again, he's given up those light squares and it allows d5.
Dude. Yeah. Well, no, he can't play d5. That's what he's terrified of.
Oh, yeah, because of the bishop. Yeah, you're right.
But let's just say nota bene, that even if it was black's move, I don't think he has anything. Even if it's black's move. The knight on f6 is terrible.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, we'll play knight e2.
So would a5 work here?
Maybe. But I'm just trying to say, hey, this ain't nothing. This e5 ain't so scary.
Yeah.
E5. Yeah, he's terrified. He thinks he's worse here. 92. All right, let's just trust him with bishop f1. I still think white's doing great. So, is black threatening anything? No, right? He's not threatening anything. I think also he's not appreciating that the knight on f6 is absolutely miserable. And the knight on c3, while we have to tend to its tactical needs. You like that statement, Chris? Tend to its tactical needs?
Tend to its tactical needs.
We might have to tend to its tactical needs.
It sounds so intimate.
He's still better than he was on c3. Knight e4 isn't working. We're just going to trust you on that. Well, here, this is interesting. This hardly seems bad, but I wonder whether black needs to start thinking sharply before white takes the initiative. But what is it? He's got to be able to fix the knight on f6, boss, and I don't see it. I don't see it. And we're going to play b4 next. There you go. We're going to put him back in his little hole now. Yeah. And now b5's funny. I wish he would tell us what he should have done. To me, the obvious move is what's happening here. That's just a simple question. Yeah. There's other moves too. And now he gets fancy with b6. This guy and jack, dude, getting so fancy. He really thinks that he doesn't have anything here because he's not seeing the knight on f6. So, what is controversial about knight b3? That's maybe not the worst move I've ever seen, but what's not so hot about it?
That's a good question. So I guess to answer that, I need to ask myself, what would I do instead of knight b3?
Well, what's the problem first, though? What's the issue on knight b3?
So knight b3, the knight he's not out of the game, but he can get hit again, I guess.
No, he gets dominated after b6.
Right. Yeah. True.
Now, first of all, I want to stress, black's still not threatening anything. There's no cd. There's no rook takes d4.
Right.
So one fun move, I don't know if this works, but would be a6. That's at least a nice position. Yeah, that's a beauty.
Yeah.
Okay. So this goes down. He's getting way too fancy. And then he does this himself. So by losing the pawn, we lose a lot of our potential to waste the dude on the queen side. Yeah, I guess here's already our position we've lost a lot of power. Uh-oh. Damn. Rah, rah, rah. Damn, that had to hurt. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
All the coconuts are falling now. Dang. So unfair. Well, I'll feature this game. There were some complaints I had. I have to make the big decision too. I have to make the big decisions about which ones stay and which ones go. All right, Chris, let's do one more, boss.
All right, that sounds good.
We'll call it. So there's another one by Koloskov. I think I've looked at a game with Luris. Paul Morphy lives. Well, we got to give this dude a try, dude. We got to give this dude a try. Uh-oh, he highly recommends Naroditsky. Now already. Should we stop it right there? Should we stop after that kind of language? Should... Oh, man. Don't annotate based on vibes. Okay. This is called the double frying pan.
Double frying pan?
Paul Morphy. One detail to remember from the books, as after FE. Yeah, okay. Helping White's development. Good, well said. Right. So this, what I would have wanted him to talk about is, why does Black have the claim that he's okay? I don't know if he actually is, but what would the claim be?
Well, I guess a couple of things. You know, the C3 knight's not completely dominated, but there aren't any especially active squares for White's light square bishop. Yeah, I don't know.
It's because we're going to say that our king will be really useful on c7, that you owe me a tempo with the knight on c3, and I feel pretty good about it. Now, knight g5, maybe. Still, we should go a little further with this variation, though, because let's say king c7. I could do a different move, too. But let's start with knight d7, just so we ask your coconut what it wants. Right? Nah, it's not so simple. Not so easy. Yeah, not so simple. Okay, so this happens. Castles with threatening bishop. It's not mate, but if we played bishop c8, that would be mate. Okay, so now that. Knight d7, a4. A mouse slip. I was intending a3. Okay, let's skip this game and move on because there's just too many questions. Because like even if you wanted to do a3, we need to talk about what the plan is. Right? We got to have a discussion here. Okay, let's go. Let's do a different one to our final. Let's look at Jack again. Jack gets extra treatment, by the way, because he is a hero of the dojo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Now, what should Black's mindset be when they play d4 here, Chris?
Oh, when Black plays
When Black plays d4, right?
So what do you mean by what should Black's mindset be?
Yeah, what should some of the thoughts be when Black makes this momentous decision?
Oh. Well, he's gaining space. He's going to be playing, I don't know, this weird advanced variation kind of thing. It's hard for me to say because I wouldn't have played that. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, what has to be said is that now it's going to be a King's Indian structure.
Right.
And he's calling it a French, not a French. The French structure, by the way, is a mirror image of the King's Indian structure, so they do have that in common.
Right, because the pawn would be on e4.
4.
4, yeah.
Right? So black is going to be playing a King's Indian, against the King's Indian, basically, structure. So this is, I'm sure it's playable to do this, but we have to recognize there's a lot of danger in doing this too. And the simple, what's it?
Down the tempo?
Yeah. And he's going to end up probably playing c5 too. So it's important to see what would be, let's call it a more easy move to play for black.
Easy move to play. I would really want to play e5
There you go, boss. There it is, yeah.
Because this then just becomes a sort of a King's Indian against Caro Khan.
Exactamundo. And just to show one trick, on knight f3, we don't have to worry about knight e5 because d4, knight moves somewhere, check to the miserable king. So that maybe that final trick could comfort you when you play e5 because you'd be like, I'm pretty sure I can deal with this knight f3 stuff, but once you see that, you're like, I ain't worried about that at all, right? Okay, so here we go, d4, e5, and now white has to figure their life out. Right, so he keeps calling it reverse French, but right, it's so the options for me would be you could go for f4 immediately. The question there is, how should black respond? You could play g3 first, or you try to set up in a kind of lame-o way like that, but that's far less satisfying with the bishop on e2, right? That ain't it, right? That isn't it.
Right.
That isn't it. That isn't it.
No, that, yeah.
And that definitely now white is going to be passive. Okay, interesting. I want to say I don't like at all what white has done, but at least g4 has an idea to play knight g3. And here, knight f6 is a little controversial because knight g5, if he wants, could come take the bishop. I don't even know if that's his best move, but that's something. c3 is horrendous. White needs to probably play either knight g3 or knight g5. I think h5 speaks to the position a little bit because we want to open the position while white has refused to develop. c3, horrendo. Good. Terrible. What's wrong with bishop g5 on a positional level?
So bishop g5 on a positional level. Well, I'm not sure it's really threatening anything. I mean, so white's good bishop is his dark square bishop, and black's bad bishop is his dark square bishop. So, I mean, you're not really pinning the knight.
Right.
And you're not really going to trade off if I play h6, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to trade off your good bishop for a dominated knight, which the knight currently has no place to go.
Correct. So, right, it's very important in these King's Indian positions where all the pawns are on light squares that you do not trade off your beast.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is white going to willingly do it, but even if he understood that he didn't want to do it, putting the bishop on g5 creates negative tension for white. You like that word, buddy? Negative tension?
I do.
Because at some point, I'm going to move the knight and get a tempo on your bishop, at the very least. So it's just in a position where maybe it's going to be subject to a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want it. Okay, horrendous move. Horrendous move. Opening the position while they're down in time. Rook c8 looks good. Castles has to be also good. Just castle, buddy. Now we're killing this fool. Oh, now we got the c file. Oh. Yep, very good notes. King D2. Welcome to the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
Knight E2. Knight B6. Windy.
Can I just play? Could Black have just played B5 there?
Maybe. I see what he's doing. He wants to play like Knight A4 and sink it. It's not the worst. But here, did he commit a chess crime by playing Queen takes C1? Now, he might just be winning. He might just be winning. No, I think so. Yeah, good move. You could play Queen D6 as winning, but that's even stronger, Jack. That's a good move, Dawes. Yeah. Let's see the variation he calculated. Bishop E2, pop, check to the miserable king. Black is clearly winning here. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Good variation. Poor Jack has to go through this wall of children, dude.
Yeah, but he's going through it pretty well. Looks like.
But Iris Eagle sounds like a dude from some boomer I played when I was 10 or something. So there you go. Check to the miserable king. There it is. All right, my friends. Good games. Abdul, hello. I did some amazing long streamings today, man.
You did.
Do you have any favorite chess streamers you want me to rate, Chris?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I usually watch my stuff on YouTube after the fact, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll give some love to the I Am Rosen.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good.
Okay, and by the way, everybody, I don't know how David did, but Kostya reports that, as expected, the streaming thing was incorrect, and he actually won. So he's doing fine. And, he's playing lower rated. Tomorrow it'd be a little bit harder. He's playing a luxurious tournament, dude. 1 round a day. And, Chris, when I play the senior this summer, dude, it's going to be like 1 round a day with a rest day in between.
Nice.
Can you imagine that, dude?
That's beautiful.
All right, I'm rating these people. Do you want to give the spiel for the dojo? You want to give a little, say, join the dojo rant? You got one?
Sure, yeah. Join the dojo. Average 41 points rating gained per player?
Something like that, man. All right, I'm going to rate these people.